G'day everyone and welcome back to another episode of Next Level Refs. My name's Peter Green and tonight I'm joined by fellow Next Level Refs contributor Strebre Delovski. So everyone should be excited into their season now, getting into the swing of things. We've had a bit of feedback on our socials over the last couple of weeks, and people have been asking us whether or not we can talk about penalty area incidents. It's a big important topic in relation to refereeing. So tonight we thought we'd go through some of those high level points that will hopefully give you a few little tips and tricks to implement into your game over the coming season. So I'll hand it over to Dello and he might be able to kick us off with the first point.
Yeah, thanks, Greenie, and g'day everyone. Yeah, look, big topic, but let's get straight into it. Positioning is the first one we've got there. Is so important when we're talking around about penalty area incidents, and the first point there around that dynamic movement is really key. As a referee, you shouldn't be standing still. You got to always try to look at and find that angle, which is we've also noted there. So rather than standing behind players, ensure that you keep moving, and that dynamic movement, that quick 5-10 yard sprint is critical around the penalty area, which also then will allow you to be generally close enough to play that if there is a major decision that needs to be made, that you're close to playing and be able to sell decision. But also that anticipation piece is also important. So if players going to the left or to the right, of that penalty area, make sure that you adjust your position accordingly. Any other points to that, Greenie?
No, mate, I think you've nailed it there. I think that anticipation bit's really key for referees. Make sure they're looking at the play, where it's going to go, and adjusting accordingly. So no, really good, mate, really good. The next point we had for penalty area incidents, something that's really important is that communication piece. So working really well with your assistant referees, with your fourth official, you're a team, work as a team. Eye contact, really important, particularly at the grassroots level where you don't have VAR to come in and help you out with those really tricky incidents. So good eye contact with your assistant referees. And probably most importantly is those pre-match instructions. Make sure you talk about what you want to do, who's responsible for which part of the field, what you want from your assistant referees if there's a potential penalty area incident or something that you want them to get involved in. So make sure you're up front. You talk about that before the game. Make sure everyone's on the same page. And obviously, really important with anything to do with penalty area incidents, we've got to have courage. If you see it, it's a penalty, it's a foul. Be brave, give that decision. And 9 times out of 10, you're gonna be right. So back yourself in and give yourself the best opportunity.
Yeah, spot on, mate. And that that pre-match instructions is so important. Whilst they may seem trivial at the start, and you just want to get out on the field at that 5-10 minutes spending with your team and talking through these types of situations and what we're going to do if it does happen. I think it's really, really important so everyone's on the same page. Look, let's get into the next one. Body language or strong body language is really important to sell the decision as such as we say it. Being close to play, we've touched on before, and that presence when you're making that big decision, it's really important that you look confident, and that strong body language and clear signals makes it pretty obvious to everyone what's just occurred. If you look at the photo there with Ben, open palm, very strong body language. Everyone knows what's going on, and it's not confrontational, which is also very important in some of these types of situations. So that strong body language is also going to be important when you give that decision, and generally there's going to be a lot of players around you and crowding around you at that point, just outside the penalty area or inside the penalty area if it's a penalty. So being calm and confident is also really important.
Yeah, you're spot on, mate. And I think I think that really nailed it. Those clear signals. I think it's really important that you get that signal, make it clear to everyone what you're doing. There's no confusion. The players will understand. 9 times out of 10, as I said, if you look confident when you give it, the players will respect the decision, and you'll get a good outcome. So last point on this topic is that confidence piece. So as we said about the courage, really important that you're confident in your decision. Because again, as I said, 9 times out of 10, if you're confident in that decision, the players will pick up on that. They'll respect the decision. If you're confident, if you're wavering, if you look 50-50 about it, players will pick up on that. And then that's when you'll start being challenged on your decision. So, nice strong whistle. If it's a penalty, it's a big, strong whistle. You point to the spot, you give the correct signal, you leave no doubt for the players. And importantly too, the spectators, so they understand what's going on as well. And then there's no, not as much debate potentially or hopefully around your decision. So, as Dello said, strong body language helps. Facial expressions are key. Look confident. Back yourself in, back your team in, and you'll give the right decision. So, anything to add on that, mate, before we
Yeah, mate,
finish
just
up?
that whistle tone spot on. I think that plays a key role there. You don't want to have a short whistle and not loud when you're trying to give a penalty. Has to be really loud, and generally the length of the whistle is also will sell the decision for you. So just concentrate on that whistle tone as well, and it'll definitely help you in selling that decision around the penalty area.
Yeah, spot on, mate. No, absolutely spot on. So hopefully that short little sharp session on penalty area incidents, you can pick up a few little bits for your own game, or your game coming up this weekend and into future weeks. So stay tuned. We'll have a few more of these over the coming weeks, and hopefully you'll be able to take your game to the next level.